All right, we're live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. Peace, peace. You're listening to Brandon B. Dixon. I got my guest host Stephen Contreras here.
Hey guys, how you doing?
All right, and y'all tuned into the Power of Ownership podcast. We're gonna wait for that cha-ching. So, I forgot. I switched over to Team iPhone, so you're not gonna hear the cha-ching. You know,
Okay.
so we're gonna go ahead. And hopefully we're live on. Let me see if I get the notification. Yep, I got the
Yeah,
notification already.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, so we're live on YouTube now. So let's go ahead and start the show. Let's start with the introductions. Again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now. Second book is in the works of getting rewritten and I'm gonna water it down a little bit, but it'll be out soon. And I'm working on a third book as well. So stay tuned for that. The Power Ownership Podcast, what we talk about is we talk about not only ownership of land and businesses, but ownership of the mind, body, and soul. So we kind of bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen realm. I'll let Stephen go ahead and introduce himself, and then we're going to go ahead and plug the website so we can get right into it.
Hey guys, Stephen Contreras here, geologist here in Houston, Texas. Kind of like a Renaissance man, studier of the arts and sciences. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving with their families this past week, and we're here to spread the wealth of knowledge and love, and try to make the world a better place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So again, if y'all like what we're doing, we kind of switched the order around a little bit. Go ahead, Cash App us. The Power of Ownership is the Cash App. Stephen has his own as well. Stephen C1234 at Cash App. Also, it's mortgage season. I know it's a lot of people start to idle down and start to slow down during the holidays, but now is the time to go hard. I got an investment property that just came in a day. I got a couple of people that's hopping on these investments. The hours of time where everybody else is sleeping and worried about Christmas. Now the time to get your investment portfolio, time to refi, time to so on and so forth. So www.hocmortgage.com. If you want to book me for a session, www.billionaireloanofficer.com. That's where you book me at. Also, you want to talk to me live, 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. It's at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. And Stephen Contreras has his own social media as well at Stephen underscore Contreras underscore 90 on Instagram. And then it's Stephen Contreras on Facebook, right?
Yep.
Right. So if y'all tuned in last week, we had one of the more controversial shows that we had. Since we've been coming on, we keep it kind of mild. We don't go, off the deep end too much, but we had a controversial show, and we kind of veered left on the panel on what I wanted to talk about. The real thing I wanted to really talk about was ownership versus non-ownership, and we got kind of derailed and deterred to something else. But
Yeah,
overall, it was a good show.
it's the hair special.
Right? It became do I cut my hair or do I not cut my hair special, which wasn't really the bill. The bill was supposed to be about ownership versus non-ownership because it's most people are on board with ownership. They could do it, or they're with it, but not too many people live by just living off the fat of the land. So we had a guest on there. That was his whole MO. He doesn't own anything, give away cars and Airbnb, and just live off of donations. That's his kind of MO. So I wanted to him to justify that type of life. What type of, where you're coming from, from that life, with that type of life, and what are we doing here? If that's the life you're gonna, live, what's the purpose? How do we build civilizations if everybody drifts? So I wanted to dig more deep, and we want to double down, and want to get clear talking points on why we preach ownership. So that's the topic of today's show. I'll let Stephen go ahead and get in first, and then I'll say my piece, and then we'll go from there. So why we advocate ownership, man? So that's the topic. So if you tuned in last week, this is the continuation. This gives us a clear chance to do our talking points.
Yep. So I believe in ownership. Ownership of the mind, body, and soul, and the ownership of just being able to build yourself up. You have to be able to work with yourself first before you can actually start building up your own businesses. You have to set goals and set the right mindset to be able to build on your craft that you're trying to work on. And everyone's craft's different, right? So that'd be my first advice is just working on yourself. Gotta get that self motivation, set goals, exercise, get your mind right, meditate, on what you want to do. And once you figure out what you want to do, that's when everything kind of starts clicking. you know and everyone's roles is a little different too. Everyone's not going to be the billionaires and millionaires. Some people are going to be workers, and that's their purpose too. And that's why I like to say too is like when we're talking about ownership, it's not just about possessions. It's also about just that mental state, that ownership of love, of wanting what you want to do. Because if you love what you do, then you're never going to work a day in your life. So I would also keep on going that you get what you give. If you give a lot into your craft or you give a lot back to society, people are going to see that and they're going to give that back to you. And that's the law of cause and effect. The law of love and nature. We get what we give in this universe. For what it is. If you're going to sit on the couch all day, you're not going to get anything back. Like you always preach, Brandon, everyone has the same amount of hours in the day. So
Well, I can't take credit to that. That's Oprah.
yeah, I know, but you mentioned it a couple of podcasts back, but it's true. We all get those same hours, and it's up to
Right,
the individual to be able to do what they want with those hours.
right,
A lot of times people, they get stuck and they don't know how to start building their life. They've always been told what to do. They watch too much TV. They live in that negative lifestyle, and that can be a real deterrent to what actually building is and what building means. You know.
right. I want to start it off from this angle right here. I want to because this impacted me the most. I know last week we started with biblical aspects. There's so many scriptures. There's at
Yeah.
least 21 scriptures in the Bible talking about ownership and land ownership, so on and so forth. But I want to start off like this. On my end, I want to have a quote from my mentor, Mattress Mac, and this is what impacted me the most, and this is why I know, when you hear the truth, it resonates in your soul, it resonates in your DNA. You're listening to the truth. Um, he stated that work is life's greatest therapy. So work is life's greatest therapy.
Mhm.
So back in ancient times, in our ancestral time, we used to work as a community. Mostly men will work with their hands to build up the civilization, whether it be building houses, building communal centers, building playgrounds and parks and stuff like that for the kids. But we built cities, and we built we worked with our hands a lot. So we're kind of out of that age right now. Now we're to the age of technology. We're in the age of Aquarius and information. Most likely, a lot of us are not working with our hands anymore. We're working out with our mind, and we're working with we're working through technology, but yet still that work is there. So without work, without having something to do, something textile and something to feel and something to grasp on to do, man would a man would go insane.
Mhm.
A man would have no purpose. So why not work? And I'm getting to ownership here in a second. And to clinch it, within the game, of course, you heard me last week talk about, yes, it's not all real. It's not all, we're in the holographic universe. Yes, that is true. But within the game, why play the game if you're not going to play the game to win? Why play? Why tap into the video game? Why incarnate in the flesh if you're not going to play the game to win? Even though the rules might change, the rules, all right, back in 3,000 years ago, we didn't. The system was different. The rules changed. Now, instead of building a house, I build up my bank account. Instead of building up a house, I build up businesses and corporations. Instead of building houses and building civilizations, we buy land and we own these different things, intellectual properties. And this is how a man defines himself as far as building his temple,
Hmm.
building himself up. The game has changed. Why not adapt to it? So, the rebut, one of the points that I guess on the panel has said last week is that, all right, well, man didn't always have money. True, but we always had some type of barter system,
Hmm.
whether it be exchanging, there's always the exchange for goods and services. Also, this, one of the contradictions is, okay, if animals don't have it, we should have it. But animals are not conscious of cell phones either. So that
Yeah.
means we can use cell phones. Animals are not conscious of any technology. So we should reduce ourselves to animals. One of the things that separates us from animals is the cognitive ability to reason and to build upon what we in a build upon, and not just go by instinct. Say, nah, this is my instinct, but my gut tells me this, but let me rationalize this and go this way. That's the difference between us and animals. We're
Yeah.
able to build and go against the flow, and everything is cut like this, but we're able to go like this to classify and do something different. I'll let you chime in on that, and then I'll finish. I'll finish it up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to lay that groundwork first.
Yeah, because you are right. We've always been able to barter and trade if it was from fishes to cows, or even from stones and tools like that. That's how humans have developed. It's in our DNA to be able to just keep on building. And
Right.
and I think what Nature Boy was trying to explain last week was like he was saying that if you just let everything go, and follow that instinct that is the higher consciousness, that you don't have to really look for what your purpose is. It's already given to you, and then everything comes to you. But the prelude though is that if you don't understand that concept of what I just said, is that if you don't, how do you get to that point, unless you're born gifted, which some people are, but most, the 99% are not born with that concept. And so they have to work, they have to study, they have to learn, they have to build, and they have to keep building and building and building. And then once everything clicks, then that's what he was talking about. Then everything comes, and that's why he lives off the land, because he says he's tapped in and everything just comes to him. But you have to work for that moment. It's still building in that process. You couldn't get there without that knowledge of true self. And that's the gift that God gives us, and to mankind, that we like I said, we get what we give, and we build what we build. And that is the whole goal, is we build, from businesses to families, friendships, to everything, to this world that we create. We are the builders, and we will always be the builders. The earth will never go away, and it will just keep on recycling itself and building back up, tearing back down, building back up, tearing back down. And the whole point of it is, if you do read the Bible, the book Ecclesiastes explains it very well. And in the end, it is all vanity, 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 vanity. But that doesn't mean that we can't strive for what God wants us to do, to build, even though it is vanity.
Right. So just to go retro what you're saying, Chop really addressed that, nipped that in the bud real quick. I didn't know we were punching over heads. Apparently we were. Well, he was, and I was as well. So this is an opportunity to break it down to the finite details and to the simplest form. So he addressed, like, everybody is not chosen. Everybody is not able to bypass the video game and see that is actually a game, and see that it's actually a hologram. Some people really, really believe this is real. This is reality. And some people incarnate and become ignorant. They this like Cypher told the agent, like, hey, I don't want to remember anything. Ignorance is bliss. So that's why I said, on vacation, I don't want to remember right now. I want to enjoy this steak. I want to enjoy this woman. I want to just get wrapped up. It's for the experience. So everybody experience can't be the same. Why, if that's the case, then Allah then the Most High wouldn't be as multifaceted and multi-dynamic as he was. If he only experienced from one angle, that wouldn't get the full experience. Am I making sense?
Oh
In the
yeah.
book, it says, I come to be the victor and the victim. I have to experience from every angle, several different times. So if everybody was one thing, all right, everybody chose it. Let's forego this. Then everybody get eaten by lions, and we wouldn't have to build any society. We'd just be in, sitting in the jungle somewhere, eating fruit. Then we couldn't experience this iPhone. I couldn't experience the internet. I couldn't experience the meeting somebody across the world, falling in love with somebody in Paris. I'm making this up. I'm not in love with somebody, but this is the experience that come with building these new technologies. In the future, you'll see time travel. You'll see us teleporting from here. All that experience the Most High wants to experience. Is this making sense?
Yeah, because we're here to keep on building. That's the whole
Right.
point. And
So
we build, and it takes ownership. It takes ownership.
well, so that's the thing. Everything's going to be experienced from artificial intelligence. Everything has to be experienced, and whether you foresee it as good or bad, it is what it is. It has to be.
Mhm.
It always will be, and that's just what it is. So, yes, if that's the best for you, if you want to take it back, and yes, things will come to where you see it will be destroyed on like the Matrix, and then Zion will be rebuilt again. That's just the ebbs and flow of the universe. But you can't just have it one sided. You can't just have it all destroyed and all one way where everybody is just, living off of, hey, this is the only right way. Nah, let me ask you this. Even though it's not perfect, what's wrong with this way that we're living right now?
Yeah, yeah, we talked about that in a previous show for the audience. If you want to go back and listen, it's I mean, it is. It's great when it is. I
Yeah.
mean, some people are born with different circumstances, sure, but everyone, and the idea is everyone has the same opportunity. Some people might have to work harder, but the end game is always the same, always.
That let me tell you what I preach, and let's talk about ownership for a second here, and then I want to get into a little bit more philosophy. I know we don't have that much time. We got about 10 more minutes here, but ownership is part of the game. Just like Sonic has to collect rings, just like Mario has to collect coins. It's part of the game. Is it real? No, technically, how can I own a piece of land? When it's the earth is for everybody. Yes, I get the philosophy, but it gives us something to occupy our time. It gives us something to us to set goals for. It gives us something. It gives ourselves something to, um, pass down our family. Hey, here's what I built. This is for you guys. It's especially as a man, it gives us something to express our love because, men, we protect and provide. And if we could provide something, we don't build houses anymore. We don't build, I don't. Everybody doesn't work with their hands, but I could use my talents to give you a bunch of money, or I use my talents to give you a bunch of businesses where so this gives everybody an equal opportunity to participate in this thing that we call life. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. And I like how you put that about building and leaving it to your family because that is the goal. We don't do anything for ourselves.
Right.
We do it for everyone else.
So that's why we preach ownership. Yeah, I mean, it's a duality thing. Yes, I understand the greater good. I understand where I'm originally from. There is no ownership of land. Everybody is all one. We all one. I get that. But while I'm here in the separation, why not go hard? Why not participate and then make the change within? Because you have more power once you get just like Mario in the game when you get more rings or you get more or you get more coins, you have more power, you move faster and stuff like that. Same thing with this system right here. The more fake fiat, the more fake money you have, the more I could dump the money into things that I want to see change. I could start my nonprofit organizations if I, if I want to advocate for, military veterans, or if I want to advocate for homelessness. I could dump my intentions and my money into philanthropy on those notes, but I can't do anything if I don't participate.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game. You have to participate. You can't just sit by idle. Then you're a non-PC.
Right.
Non-playable character, and so
Right.
then you have to be able to build. You have to be able to move, and like I said, be able to share that charity work, because faith, hope, and charity. The three principles.
Right. It gives people a sense of purpose. It gives people a sense of purpose. Think about it. If we all sat in the jungle and never built any cities, what would we do?
We would, we'd be technically like animals, right? Like a flock of sheep, just like moving. Yeah.
This is the reason why this was separates men from animals, because men have that ability to dream and to the imagination and to construct and to create, use alchemy. This is the difference between us and animals. So what would a bunch of humans just do sitting around? We can't even go 5 minutes without looking at our phone. I could do 3 or 4 things. I could be on my phone. I could be listening to a lecture. I could be working on a loan. I'm doing 3 or 4 things. I would go absolutely nuts sitting there in the jungle doing absolutely nothing. And it's the convenience factor as well. Think about it. If we just sat in the jungle and we use, a leaf when it rains, and I just got wet, like, all right, man, we got to do something about this. Here's how to build a house. Let's go ahead. So next time it rains, I don't get drenched.
Yeah, just shelter in general. That was one of the first things we built as a human society.
Right. It's like our brain are able to problem solve.
Yeah, it's like Minecraft. I don't know if you know that game, but you start out with nothing, but you got to chop the wood to build the house to provide shelter. Make the tools, make the wheels. Build your little world.
Right. So let's take it to the next thing. I wanted to go as far as my philosophies about this. Yes, I see some people in the comment are talking about, yes, we are all energy. Yes, this is imaginary place. This is we are the universe experiencing itself. We are Allah experiencing itself from different angels or different angles. Yes, I'm there with you fully. But at the same time, we incarnate in the flesh for a reason. What happened is, like I said, through out the ages, we actually made it comfortable here. We built these great civilizations in order for the problem solve and make comfort, and to actually have something to do, have purposes down here. Am I making sense, Steve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So when you come here, it's of your own free will and accord. You came here for a purpose. It's like in the Matrix. The Oracle told Neo, like, you already made the choice. You're just trying to figure out why. So we already made the choice to come here, obviously, because we're here. Now this life is trying to figure out why I'm here. And one of the greatest reasons, the greatest therapy, what could give you your purpose is by building or help build the civilization. Is this making sense, Steve?
Yeah, and just to go on to that point, the reason why, man, all the things on this planet, all the species, plants, everything, the only sad thing on the world is man, because man has to be able to build, and and like you said, going through life without figuring that out drives a lot of people to sadness, unfortunately, because they're afraid to put in the work to find what their purpose is, and they just at that point they're just shadows. They're just moving with no purpose. Then you're again at that point you're non-playable again because you're afraid to dig deep into your moral psyche and to figuring out why you really came here. Why are we here? That's the age-old question of man. Why are we here right now in this moment, point in time? And that's what drives a lot of people to be unhappy because they don't see the joy of being able to build what they want to and what they want to create, because that is the whole purpose, is to be able to create, and not for the ego's sake. That's a life without love. And it's for the higher self, for what it is. Build for your own pleasure, but not just for your pleasure, but for the greater good of what the universe represents.
Right. So it's just the game. Play the game to its fullest. If you're going to play the game, why not get a high score? Why be, if everybody can't get a high score? Some people are supposed to suck at the game. That's the experience. I want to lose. Some people want to lose and lose big. That's an experience. So, but people that follow us and people that watch us, they have a burning desire to better themselves according to what we came up, according to rules of society. We came up here. And I want to read this comment, and I disagree wholeheartedly with this women's drumming tradition worldwide. Say we can't own anything we are only experiencing. We can't take any of this material world with us. We only can take knowledge and wisdom on the journey. You're kind of partially okay, but I'll tell you why it's a false statement, because where I'm from, we know all. So why would here is just the experience. I already know everything. When I come into the flesh, that's part of the covenant, is my memory gets wiped clean. That's why and so I already where I'm from, I already know it. I already know everything. I'm one with the all. When we under the illusion of separation, that's when we forget everything. And that's what think about it. If I knew it all, then there would be no illusion of experience.
Yeah, that's why I go back to the book Ecclesiastes, because like she said, you can't take it with you. It's true. It's all for vanity. That's the first lines of the book are vanity, vanity, vanity. Oh, how I try so hard, but it's all vanity, because you can't take it with you, but it doesn't mean that you can't build, because that's how everything grows. So for example, just on a philosophical note, is everyone's born pure, right? But society changes people, right? That's just how the rules of the game are at this current time. But at one point in time, sure, everyone was born pure. They were all connected with the source, at all times, at everything. But you're still building with the source on your shoulders. So now in today's world, everyone isn't connected with the source and isn't tapped in, and they might think they are tapped in, but it's not. And unless you're there, you understand what it is. And so we're always building. That's what God is he's the builder, the master builder, the grand architect.
Right.
He's letting us experience us building ourselves up to those levels, up the ladder.
Right. Or some people that choose not to build, that's an experience with itself as well.
But eventually they have to, though. That's
right. So that's the thing. That's the illusion of separation, is to actually remember the all, and realize, self-realization that you are part of the all. So that's the whole key to it. And then once you do that, again, this is what I wanted to get into philosophy, the philosophical conversation. Once you do that, I think that's the real reason we're here, is to, okay, I understand both sides of duality. In, divide, dual, individual. So I understand the duality. Like, hey, listen, I understand that I'm God here in the flesh. So why not maximize this human experience, then transcend the human experience and deify myself here while I'm here? So you're here not only to be a human, but to be a great human. And that's the true eternal life. Here, that's immortalization here. George Washington, Malcolm X, um, people that Mansa Musa, people that we talk about in history. These people immortalized themselves. They deified themselves. That's the whole key to this thing. So self-realization, the Buddha, self-realization that I'm part of the all, but I'm here in this flesh. Instead of running from why I came, embrace it. Be great. That's what we're here for, to be great. Not just be an average human. Now, some people are here for, all right, I'm drunk with the pleasures. I like the sensation. That's why sin is short for sensation. Get it? So I like the sensations. It's all fake, but I love the steak. I love how the steak feels. I love how this woman feels. I love how whatever feels. It's all fake. So if you get caught up in that, that's a distraction. The whole thing is to transcend humanity, make yourself great, and have people not only recognizing you, I don't want to say worship, and then I want to say idolize because those are two bad words, but respecting you to where you did something to make their lives easier.
Yep. And the journeyman can always go into a conversation with anybody they meet and have an impact on their life. And
Right.
that's what you always want to do. If you live with the power of love, you can change people's lives just by looking at them.
Right. And again, like I said, with Buddha, he laughed most of the time. It brought laughter and abundance. In a time where it was dark and everybody was pessimistic, he brought the fact that the glass is half full, not half empty.
Yeah.
So just certain philosophies and perceptions could change lives. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's all part of the game. It's a great experience. It's great to be here. It's great. Savor the moment. Savor your ups. Savor your downs. And not really. That's the thing. This is a philosophy. Either you win or you learn. Even the losses are lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Savor the moment. Savor your relationships that you have with family members. Even savor your relationship with enemies. Think about it. Enemies. It's in the word. Enemies.
Yep. And it's like people forget too the word human. Hue, color, man.
Right. So that's the thing, man. It's all about savoring the time that you're here, and which really put it on my mind again. I attended a funeral this week again. I had to bury my grandfather. It was really like my father because he raised me from a child and kind of taught me everything. One of the main things he taught me, his favorite Bible verse, and I know it like the back of my heart, was obedience is better than sacrifice. That's what he said at least a couple of times a month. And what he meant by that is, not just being civil obedient, but be obedient to why we're the rules that we set up. And and it's better than sacrifice, it's better than losing out. So trying to bypass the system, trying to usurp the system that we set out, you're sacrificing valuable time and precious memory and resources. And what I mean by resources are your own energy, because don't forget we're all energy. So put your energy in something, and again, that's some people's purpose to I guess live outside the norm. But I think if we could do as a collective, it won't happen, but if we build as a collective, we could get further. That's why I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but I know that's a euphoria, that's a utopia, and that's a euphoric type of message. But I mean, again, anything could happen.
Yeah, it's like the story of ants. Ants in their ant farm and their ant hill. They all have to work together. They all have their purpose. Everyone, and everyone knows their purpose too.
Right. So one of the last thoughts, the final thought, on this. I know we're really at the 30 mark right now, 30, 35 mark. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Um,
I found this on the web.
I got to get used to Siri and all that stuff,
Yeah, I
But
try to turn it off, man. I never use it.
uh, again, ownership. Uh, participate in the game. If it's not your thing, don't let it be your thing. But again, find something that actually you're great at. That's why they call it a genius, because you're tapping into your genes and enhancing your abilities, and then take it to the fullest and be the best that you can be. Outdo yourself. I think everything you can observe. That's what science is: observing nature and then documenting, recording, and the scientific method is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a certain result. So if I jump 5 feet at this particular angle, I'm always going to get this result. That's really science. And science is only here. This is what we were talking about a little bit last week. So observe your surroundings, and you can see that everything is to be built in its realm. Everything has to be built. Just like if you want to be a bodybuilder, you have to hit the gym, you have to hit these weights, and you have to diet, and you have to do this stuff in order to build. You want to be a rocket scientist, in order to be a scientist, you have to go to college, you have to do this, you have to do that. In order to be an NFL champion, you had to play bitty ball, you had to do this, you had to do that, you had to do this. Everything is a build. That's just what this realm is about. I think we lost Steven. His Wi-Fi must have went out. Hold on, let's see. Let me add back. Hold on 1 second, family. All right, we should have him back here in a second. I think his Wi-Fi went out, but everything is a build. You have to build at all times here. That's just what this is in a dimension, in this particular dimension. So, yes, go ahead and participate. Go ahead and build. Go ahead and find your purpose. Go ahead and see what you're good at and do it to the fullest. Again, I'm not gonna keep you too long. Hopefully, we get Steven back. I think his Wi-Fi dropped out. Let's go ahead through the promoting. Again, if you like what we're doing, go to Cash App, the Power of Ownership. Keep the show going, so on and so forth. You Cash App Steven at Steven1234 on Cash App. Also, again, it's mortgage season. Go to my website, www.hocmortgage.com. If you want to get a mortgage, you want to apply, now's the time to refi while stuff is still at record lows, so on and so forth. Okay, here we go. We got you back. Your Wi-Fi dropped out, huh?
Yeah, I guess we can't talk about that kind of stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, I always dance the edge. I never dive in the pool. I always, I'm gonna do this little tightrope. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. If you want to book me for a consultation, go to www.billionaireloanofficer.com, or you can give me a call, 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. Again, at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media, and at Steven_Contreras_90 on all social media as well. Again, so we're gonna wrap up. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to say, life's not worth living without love. You have to find the love for yourself, the love for others, the love that you're trying to build the world around you. You have to always love. The power of love is so powerful. If people loved and not hated, we would be at that utopia that you talk about, because the power of love transcends space and time, and it's love that gets the human experience where it needs to go.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Don't forget that God is a verb, and personal responsibility is your only savior. With that, I'm gonna say peace.